Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses, the best Leicester City fan channel on the internet. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for Fox's Den. Look at Anil, he's always prepared. I'm never prepared anymore with the glasses. There we go, got them on. Just a quick one here, Steve. I can't promise anything, mate. Can we find some positivity tonight? We'll try and find some, I'm sure. A week ago, we were sat here. Three of us were sat here, and Josh as well, talking about the transfer window and what players we could bring in the last few days of the window. You don't need me to tell you this. We brought in zero, so we're not talking about transfers tonight. The window's gone and done and dusted. We're talking a little bit now about what comes next. How do we get out of this mess? And obviously, up next is the Manchester United game in the cup. But before we get into it all, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to hit subscribe and get your comments in throughout the stream. We'll get them all on. And Neil, mate, dust has settled from the transfer window, mate. How you feeling?
Well, we did the analysis show yesterday, and that was pretty depressing. See how bad we are. I've got one piece of positivity for Steve, which is the news you shared with me that Galatasaray might be interested in Faes, and their transfer window is still open for another week. So if we're going to accept our fate, get them off the wage book, if you ask me.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about that their window is still open. I mean, at this point, it probably is a bit silly, right, though? Well, we'll talk about it. We'll come back to it. We'll come back. Yeah, it's a good talking point in there. We'll talk about. Ragsy, mate, what's going on? Have you calmed down now since Monday night, where people were trying to wind you up? This guy over here, Manny, about your hair and all that
stuff. Scheming was scheming, shall we say? But I mean, it's not even like just a little bit that just sort of sent me over the edge. It's mainly the club, but it's like it's just shit, really, isn't it? Like thinking about Leicester, but it's another cathartic session, or hopefully tonight. So we'll see.
Yeah, Manny, mate, what's going on? How you doing, mate?
In a way, weirdly, I feel a bit better than I did the other day. It's, there's the hope that kills you, right? And there is, in terms of transfers, that's not going to happen anymore. So at least we know where we are and what we've got to do. And for all the doom and gloom that we've all felt for a little while now, the table says we're 2 points behind. Okay, goal difference, so maybe one win. And we do have to play Wolves head-to-head. So, indeed, he's back soon. I'm going to try and focus on Wilf coming back and the impact he could have on the team. And hopefully he'll change our fortunes.
Yeah, well, I did say no more transfers, but thanks to Anil, there is actually one more to talk about. You're right. There was obviously news today that the Galatasaray are interested in Wout Faes. Leicester have asked for £20 million. Anil, talk to me, because I can't remember if it was you or Manny who said on the stream the other night that there's clearly a problem at the club with the valuation or what they value their players at, because Wout Faes is not, I mean, he's not a £20 million player. We all know that, but
we signed him. We signed him for 15 million, didn't we? What I was saying is, you told me something about 4. 4, I think, is too little, because I think he's got 2 years left on his contract. So that probably means he's worth, in terms of what he's worth on the books, he's worth 7.5 right now. So honestly, if you could get 10 for him, you're actually showing a slight profit. And if we are going to go down the championship, you get him off the wages. Although that said, I've got a feeling that his wages are probably not as bad as other people at the club, given when he was signed. But if that was the case, I mean, I would do it, to be honest with you, because regardless, he is going to leave in the summer, I would imagine. And was happy to do one season in the championship. He ain't doing it again, and we don't want him, to be honest with you. We said how, Yannick's awful as well, but I just thought that he just switches off, which is even worse sort of thing. And as you say, he's your favourite player. So I don't know. Will they do it? I don't know. But should they do it? Yes.
Well, I always make the claim. I mean, I don't know this for fact. It's not a fact, but I always say that at least Vestergaard knows he's shit. Fast thinks he's incredible. Manny, 20 million. I think this euros. Somebody said 20 million euros for Wout Faes. I mean, it's a bit like the Luke Thomas one, where we heard that was it Hoffenheim were interested in him for 5. I'm like, just do it. Just do it. Sorry, they haven't offered 20. Sorry, but we want 20. I mean, surely at this point, I suppose the argument, Manny, which you can make if you want, is the window's shut. So is it smart to get rid of him? Because then that's one less defender at the club.
At this stage, it feels like, what difference is it whether it's Faes, Vestergaard, Coady? What much of a muchness. So
Okoli?
I didn't mention Okoli because he's got to start. So it's his partner. It's Okoli +1 for me, and the +1. It doesn't matter what the +1 is; they're all the same, right? So if somebody makes you a good offer, then you would take it. As for 20 million euros, I mean, look, we've had an issue for a while with this club about what their perception of valuation as players, both ends. They think some players are overvalued, so we buy them, and they think, you know, some players are amazing and they ask for too much money. I mean, to run through them in less than 30 seconds, Luke Thomas, 5 million. That's a good offer. Take it. 8 or 10 million for Casey McAteer. Take it. 15 million euros for Wout Faes. You would take it. You know, 25 million for Skip. We've been through this a lot of times. Way too high. These numbers and corresponding wages, by the way, like some of the wages that we pay is just absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. So somebody has to have a rethink about, you know, valuations of players and what they are actually worth. And if you get too picky, do you remember we tried to get Dennis Pratt off our books several times? I think Torino are interested for a few windows. And I think we were asking for something like 8 and they offered 5 or 6. You know, if we're going to keep haggling over this extra 1 or 2%, or sorry, extra 1 or 2 million in cases, or 10, 20%, we are not going to get these players off our books. And we have a history of losing players for free transfers. Majority of the time we get rid of our dead wood is when they're out of contract because no one else wants to buy them. So if you do get an offer, it's not just the offer itself, it's the fact that you're getting their wages going as well. So I would look again.
Bragsy, what are your thoughts on sorry, just a quick one here. Got here later. Yes, he said nice hair for once. There we go. He said nice hair.
Nice
Bragsy, mate. Yeah, what do you make to or what phase? Would you sell him at this point with the window closed?
I'd sell him for a pack of Stella Watsits, quite frankly. Yeah, the guy's like, honestly, I've never known a defender to have the mindset of a Beckenbauer, but the talent of James McClean. He's fucking awful. I can't stand the sight of his stupid every time he flicks his hair back and just like throws his arms up every time he fucks up and makes a mistake. Not even like, you know, just every time. It's not even, this is basics that we're talking about here. One ball over the top, constantly. We saw it against Everton. Can't deal with it.
With Vestergaard.
Yeah. Even with Yannick as well. I mean, yeah, like Manny said, it's just much of a muchness at the minute. It's just like, it's replacing shit with shit. Even we tried it with a Dawson Coady deal. It was shit with shit. Like, just get them off. Like, they're nowhere near good enough to be a Premier League club. So any bonus is just getting rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, and Neil, just quickly, just briefly on that, because I suppose it ties in, you know, with the future, what comes next and all that. I mean, Manny is dead set on Okoli coming in. I agree with him on the part that, well, he can't be any worse, and it has to surely be an improvement. But again, mate, I keep saying that I just think they're all as bad as each other, mate. I think I said it multiple times in the last week. You know, yes, he brings a bit of pace, but he also brings the bozo gene like the rest of them.
Well, you saw that in full effect yesterday. Have a look at that last goal again. But all that said, I would still play him because the thing is, he could get better. The others are not. So therefore, go with the one who could get better. You might get better market value. There must be something inside there. You know, as we mentioned, he has got to the Italy squad. He used to play for Atalanta. I will say the fact that he hasn't actually played for Italy and Atalanta sold him probably tells you what his real level is as a player. But I would still look into him because the others are not the future. And as we've seen with some of the other ones, for this guy that's a leader with Coady and he wanted to go back to Wolves on deadline day, I mean, you see what the true colours are really like. So, yeah, I would play someone. He actually seems like a nice guy. I mean, in your video with Rob Tanner, you were saying how actually where it got misconstrued, the criticism towards Okoli is he actually defended Facundo Buonanotte. I mean, that actually sounds quite good to me, like someone that's maybe, you know, a good person to have in the dressing room. So, yeah, we should definitely be trying it because, you know, let's say we are getting relegated, right? I don't know about you, but I think I would like to see a stab of Okoli and Ben Nelson starting as CBs next season. Like, let's look to the future, not the past. Because Vestergaard, we know that if we come back up, it's not going to make it. So let's try and get some people in that will do it. You could still be in the squad and play, you know, because you get a game every 3 days when it really gets hectic. But that's what I would look at.
Yeah, Manny, I mean, you've just for some reason got this. Well, I say for some reason, I'm being a little bit harsh on you. I was going to say you've got a hyperfixation at the moment, which you do have quite a lot, Manny, hyperfixations on different things. But at the moment, it is Okoli.
Because we got 4 centre-backs. We've got 4 on the books. One of them has some pace. The others have 0. We saw at the weekend and plenty of other games what zero pace does. So if you're in your mind, they're all equally as bad, but at least I'll take the one that has a bit of pace. What that allows you to do is you can play a higher line if you want to. You can play a mid line. You can play a block as well. With Vestergaard, you can only play one of those three options. So at least your options in attack also open up. The second thing is, when you buy in a player from a foreign country, Italy, it's his first season in England. He probably doesn't speak the language. He's 24. How many players do we say it takes them a while to settle in? Buba Samare, did he walk in and was amazing? Everybody is different. This guy, when he's 26, 27, could, I mean, maybe not, but he could be a really good player. We don't know yet. But in a couple of years' time, is Vestergaard going to be any better? Is Faes going to be any better? Is Coady going to be any better? Well, no, they're going to be worse. They're just getting even older and even slower. So this guy hasn't reached his ceiling yet, and the others are already past it. So it's always Okoli for me. And, you know, if we ever want to, you know, we've had a history of selling players on. We sold Fofana for 70, Maguire for 80. I mean, I'm not saying that this guy's anything like that. He's nowhere near Fofana level, not at all. But if we ever have aspirations of trying to move players on, we've got to put them in the shop window and develop them. That is our business model. Buy young, give them game time, develop them, and move them on. So the other three, we're not moving those on. There's no requirement to give them game time. They're slow as hell. They have been playing for all of Ruud's tenure. And how has our defence been going for all of those 10, 12 games? Any good? It's no brainer. You've got to start Okoli and then pick your poison with one of the others.
Yeah. Ragsy, what's your thoughts on Okoli, mate? Is that who you would pick now next? Obviously, we don't know about the partner, but it could, it could be anything. But would you start Okoli?
I mean, to be honest, like, I don't really see why he was dropped. That's the one bit of a gripe that I've got with Ruud at the minute. Because we haven't really seen, the only partnership that we haven't really tested out is Yannick with Okoli. And I think, like, with Yannick, we all know he's finished and he only has limitations where you sort of like have to sit in to protect him from anybody running in behind him. But that balance could work if Okoli does pretty much the donkey work of it. If he's the one tracking back and stuff and like covering for him, and then Yannick can be on the ball and still like you have him sort of in the centre, then being at the base of play to set off if he starts spraying the ball or whatnot. So that's the only one that we haven't tested. I felt like we were actually getting some when we started Okoli and Faes, and really it was Faes that was infected with this bozo gene. Coady is set being a podcaster in the future, and I think it's ridiculous with his reputation that he's just like even getting offers from like Wolves at the minute. But yeah, there could be potential there. There could be attributes that you could still go on and develop and work with him. And if he fucks up, then okay, he can sit here and learn from it, and we can take it into the future. There's at least some potential for resale value there, like Manny is alluding to. So try something else, just not the same old shit that we have been so far.
Yeah, well, look, lads, we do have Manchester United up next, and it is another cup game, and I think it's our third visit to Old Trafford, right? This season already,
yeah.
Third visit. Big shout out to anybody who's actually going. I mean, what is it, 50 quid a ticket, something like that, 55 quid? Imran ain't going, so there'll be no match day vlog this weekend, but I don't blame him whatsoever. It's nuts. But Anil, we say this even when we were like a mid-table club. You'd say, well, should we focus on the league or focus on the FA Cup? I mean, I think the question's a lot easier this time round, right? Like it's not a focus. It's not a priority.
It's not, but let's see what Ruud does, because last time he still played a really strong team because he just wanted to keep the form in. I think the next game's not till the following Saturday. Am I right in saying that? So I think he probably will go full strength. I do think, though, Woyo Koulibaly is surely going to come in now because this makes the perfect sense because, it's not going to cost him if we lose sort of thing. But he did make a lot of subs there. I mean, he's got to mix it up. What we've been doing has not been working. So I want to see lots of changes. I said it as well, that our half-time, a bad performance as that, you got to haul loads of players off and just put other ones in. The game was done at 3-0. You need to let people know you cannot have that kind of performance and give other players an opportunity to play and get into the team.
Yeah, there's a comment here from Richard saying, I'm not watching the Man United game. I'm going to a Brian Little Q&A as Leicester teams didn't have the best players, but what they gave every week is fight, unlike this shower of shit. Smallest...
Until he buggered off to Villa, that is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry.
smallest away following at Old Trafford for years. I've seen they've reduced the number of tickets that they're selling, actually, Leicester, because there's not many people buying them. What a surprise. Who saw that come in? 50 quid, 55 quid a ticket and a shower of shit on the pitch. But Manny, mate, I mean, FA Cup, the magic of the FA Cup and all that. I mean, I remember back in the year that we won the FA Cup, obviously, I was very much in the camp of we need to focus on getting top 4, which I still stand by. But we did win the FA Cup anyway; it doesn't really matter. But what's your thoughts on it this year? Because Anil's right that he played a full strength team against QPR and we won. Didn't really do much because we lost. Was it Palace the next game and then Fulham? But what does he do this time around?
Oh, he'll definitely 100% play his best team. There's no way Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to Old Trafford with a bunch of kids to get humiliated 7, 8, 9-0, and his reputation's already in decline pretty quickly, and he's going to hope that they don't get humiliated. There's probably half of him that secretly wants the United job one day, and he'll want to impress. But from our point of view, I just don't see the point of even if we could beat United, which we possibly could. United are particularly horrendous at the moment. Amarin's doing some crazy things, I would say. Mainu's lining up as a false 9 and these other weird things. They might be there for the taking. Unlikely still. They're likely still trouncers. But beyond that, you've got the next game and the next game. And at some point on, if you progress deep in this competition, it's going to interfere with the Premier League running. Like the last 4 games of the season, I think we've got some winnable fixtures, right? So if we're still in the mix, fast forward 4 games to go in the Premier League, and we're 3 or 4 points behind Wolves. But we've got cup games. And it's not just a cup game, it's a cup semi-final at Wembley. And a player is going to go, Wednesday night, we've got a really important league game, but we're going to Wembley on Saturday. I hope I don't get injured. It might not be active, but subliminally, it will make a difference to the way that they play. That's why United can play well in a cup final against Man City last season, but when it comes to league time, they're not there. When it comes to the big show, some players will want to get motivated. My priority is absolutely to stay in the Premier League. You get about £2.5 million for winning the FA Cup. You don't get any money. We've already won it recently. I don't want the European place because we'll just get slaughtered in Europe and it'll affect our either staying up campaign next year or coming up campaign if we're in the Championship. I just don't see the point of caring too much. And I think rather than that, I would rather use these games. I've said it before. I want to see Michael Golding in a Leicester City shirt. I want to see him get an hour. I want to see him get 70 minutes. I want to see if this kid has got talent for next season and the season after. If Will Alves is here, I would like to have seen him. Anybody who's not really had much game. Odsonne Edouard, I know everyone's going to laugh at me in the chat. He's played like one game in 14 minutes or something, or 70 minutes and 14 minutes. I want to see the guy play, just to see if he's a better option than Daka for the Premier League. So that's the way I would approach it, although absolutely Ruud will not. It will be Vestergaard. Well, it'll be the usual team that we would expect.
Ragsy, mate, do you agree? Do you think it will be full strength? I think it will be, other than, you could say Koulibaly is full strength, but obviously it's JJ who's held the position all season. But I think that will be the change, Koulibaly in. But yeah, what do you make?
I mean, yeah, I think with Ruud going back to Old Trafford, I think he will be serious with it again. It was like what he said for the QPR game, when whatever you want to sort of take from Percy's article, whether bits were real or fake, he did come out to the squad and say, like, there's no Christmas presents going to be handed out. And he was putting on that authority just to be like, and that's the part of him I actually respected, being like, no, well, if you're not going to work and if you're just going to sit there and expect to play just because, even though you haven't been doing jack shit in training, then forget it. I'll pick the players that are actually working. So, but if it's a case where he's going to play, and I'm not being funny, but if you Reeds, Winks, these senior, weak, pathetic, spineless players start, I'm not watching it. I don't care. I'm not.
What, the players that beat Spurs, Ragsy? What are you talking about, mate?
Bro, listen, I'm not even hearing this about, look, they give like a one-off game, and it sparked up from the actual good players. Like, they didn't need the shit around them to do it. They were just
Bobby got 2 assists, mate.
Yeah, Reed's okay, fine, wonderful, one game, but the rest of the time, jack shit. What did he do against Everton? So the only, like, you know, you play that team, we're not going to learn anything. We're not going to progress anywhere. And we're not going to win any bloody trophies. We're not even going to beat United away, even as pathetic and shit as they are. At least let's learn something. At least go and experiment. Be like, and Ruth's surely got to, like, see some sort of sense in this, being like, he can't play that the way that he wants to play with, like, slow players and not technically advanced players. Go and at least try with the youth that want to learn, want to progress, have some raw ability about them, and go and, like, mold that into a team that could at least play his way to some sort of an extent, rather than going down the same old roads of experienced crap that are no good for us. So at least go and experiment. Don't make this trip a waste. Not for the fans, certainly.
Can I just make one other point as well? Is that, do you remember we played the full team against QPR, wasn't it? We played at home last round, and then we played, I think, was it 3 days later? We played Palace at home.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first half against Palace? We were fine. We actually played quite well. What happened in the second half? We faded. We tired. We remember we've got an average age of about 147 across half round 3. So when it came to 60 minutes and beyond, the players didn't have legs, and Palace took over. Palace hadn't played, well, probably hadn't played a first team 3 days before. And certainly with our average age being so old, the recovery time is longer. You know, I think it's just so dangerous to actually think that we can play, you know, the same team, mostly Vardy, 60, 70 minutes, and then 3 days later do it again, and then potentially 3 days later, and keep doing this without there's some kind of impact. Of course there's going to be an impact. And that Palace game, you saw what that impact was.
I'm hearing you there, Manny, but I'm also saying just mentally, they don't possess, like, a mindset to overcome adversity as it is. They're just passengers in the team. They'll hop along for the ride. As soon as they sense an opportunity where, if, like, a quality player like a Bilal or like a Jamie goes and finishes a chance, they'll latch onto it and be like, oh, okay, everybody's up for it and working hard. And then they'll, like, tag along with them onto it and join in the press or chip back and work hard and stuff. But as soon as something doesn't go their way, they had a really good half against Palace. They didn't score a goal or get anything from that. They don't have the persistence to keep going. So then as soon as a couple of the laggy ones start dropping off, and physically and mentally, they all just fall to shit. So it's nothing really that you get anywhere with this team. At least with the youth, at least they can still keep running. They can still provide that energy and spark to the team that maybe we need.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about youth, and it's this comment in particular. Not that one, calling Edward a bozo. Although I do agree. Tony Smith says, give Munger a chance. So we've discussed this a little bit before. Manny, I know what you think. I mean, you think it, you know, don't put him in too early. Don't put him in the you know.
No.
Well, you said don't put him in the spotlight. You don't want to open a can of worms. However,
well, I think the can of worms is already gone, isn't it? Everybody knows. I mean, we can try and keep the lid on it, but everybody knows how good this kid is.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Anil, with Munger, I mean, you saw his goal in the week, I'm sure, you know, in the under-21s. He is spoken of as the most exciting prospect to ever, probably ever come through the academy, especially in the last kind of 10, 15 years. I mean, why not, Anil, right? We need pace. We need something different in the squad. Why not?
I don't have a problem with it. I think it just depends on how good he really is. And I think maybe we need to just sort of brace ourselves there for expectations. It is possible that Arsenal actually have the record. Ethan Nwaneri, that's playing for them at the moment, they gave him his debut at 15 years old. And they were basically, Arteta was saying, you're going to be in the main team. You're going to do it. I'm giving you a start now. You just got to trust the process. It's coming. You're going to be in the team. He's done the same with the other guy that's going into, Marv Skellion, into the England team. So we could do something like that. It just depends on how good he really is. Like, do you remember Will Alves did come on for a brief cameo against Watford a few years ago? And you could see there was something a bit saucy with him. He kept trying to beat every single player one-on-one. And Brendan, after the game, was saying, I was telling him, if he doesn't pass the ball, I'm going to haul him off, even though I've only put him on for 8 minutes, which was kind of funny to see. So if he is good, try him. But I think we just got to brace yourself. That is a massive level up. To expect someone to go against playing in the under-21s to Premier League football is quite a lot. But look, if he is good enough, sure. I mean, Lamine Yamal just showed that the Euros, didn't he? That was absolutely ridiculous. Remember that goal he scored against France? You were thinking, we're seeing a world beater here. To do that at that age is this is not, just a everyday player. So if he's good enough, yeah, why not try him? I think there's nothing to lose, really.
Yeah, I think Yamal was as well. He was 15 in his debut, right, for Barcelona. I'm sure.
Yeah, and then 16 in the Euros, scoring a goal like that at that age. He was 17 in the final and helped win it. So if you're good enough, Maradona was playing for Argentina at 15, believe it or not. But you just got to bear in mind that people like that are freaks of nature. But I will say, when you see the videos of him physically, he looks in good shape, because that's normally the thing that holds you back is players have got talent, but they haven't physically matured. I think why people are so excited about this kid is he's got the talent. He's clearly got like the IQ as well, but he's also got the physique as well. And he's probably going to develop that even more. So you put all those into a bucket and stir it around, and you got a good, concoction coming out.
For all of us who played school rugby, right? You remember there's always, we might all be say 15 years old, but there's always one or two lads who like, Jesus, you sure he's 15? He's an absolute monster.
I mean, look at Luke Littler.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that type of player is often the one that isn't that good. I'm sure it's happened to you. I used to play with a few kids like that. One was even playing for England under 16s, but he never made it because at that level, he was killing everyone because he was like 2 seconds faster and way stronger. But as soon as he played in the age group, they were all like that. He was just average. For that, I'm not saying Monga's going to be like that. I'm just saying that's the.
I know this isn't the Tigers then, but Manu Tuolangi made his debut. I think it was against South Africa A's at Welford Road. He was 18 years old. But he had the physicality of a 28-year-old. Like, he was smashing grown-up men, putting them on their backside. So, Jeremy Monga, we've seen the pieces. He looks physically, to me, I don't think physicality is the issue at all. There might be a bit of, maybe he's a bit nervous, but I don't even think that's the issue. I actually think if he played, he would do a better job than Ayew today. So, on that basis, I would play him. My worry is more so that the minute you play him and he does one good thing, just one, he could have a stinker the whole game. If he does something good on the pitch against Old Trafford, the headlines are out there and we have got almost no chance of nailing this guy down. However, the reality is he's probably going to go anyway.
Yeah.
So we may as well use him to try and help keep us up and save us before he does go.
That's exactly where my mind is at. I think he's going to go regardless at some point. So just make use of him now. But no, I agree with what you're saying though about some kids are physically they're like 5-10 years. I mean, as I mentioned, Luke Littler, he looks like he's been sinking pints for 10 years, but he's not, right? He's not even.
I think he has been sinking them for that long. That's part of the problem. But he's a lad, though, isn't he? So he's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, Ragsy, mate, my mindset again is anything has to be better than what we have right now. Of course, I joke around and jest that Ayew and D. Cordova Reed have come up with big moments and goals and assists and all this stuff. But, Monga would bring something completely different that we have missed since Abdul Fattawi's ACL back in, November?
Just a fresh new start, really. Just like, you need to, what is the point of having Seagrave and building it there? And it's there to build top prospects into top talents, not make mediocre players less mediocre. Let's use it to, and it's it's all well and good, having this amazing facility with state-of-the-art sort of facilities just for dead, aging players that are mentally checked out of a game, picking up a wage just to stroll about in. You're not going to learn, you're not going to develop them anymore. So look to the future at least. Yeah, okay, you bring them in, they're raw, they're going to make mistakes. So you got to expect that from them. But I do believe we have a temperament with a fan base that would at least allow them and forgive them a little bit, just as they learn through it. Just anything over, just the same old shit that we've been seeing. And really, when you come to Nwaneri, I think even he was running down his contract at the time with Arsenal. So
yeah,
and he was putting the cord to them, being look, I'm considering options elsewhere. Then Arteta brought him in through the first team and go, look, you stay on the path that you do, trust the process, and you stick around with us. This could be something for you. Moving forward, we'll give you that pathway. You just got to keep on working through with us. If we keep on limiting and so many sort of youthful prospects and stuff, what's the centre back now? I mean Calvin Bassey. Okay, maybe at the time we didn't deem him good enough to sort of progress through, but then he went to Rangers, he went to Ajax, and now he's a Premier League centre back at Fulham. What are we we can't just sit here and keep on wasting these talents and stuff. We can't sit here and boast about the academy if they're not really going to amount to anything here. we've got to make them become assets here, and we've got to try and develop and progress them, because this is something that we can make money out of, and that could help the club going forward for us. This is something internally, despite as to how much funds that we have on the outside, that we can still work with, and continually keep on doing that.
Can I just imagine quickly? Go on. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, because you pointed to this comment, Manny, not that one, Nyoni. So with this guy, by the way, I heard something last year that basically what happened with this guy is Leicester City sat down with him and basically just spoke money. Right, this is what we're going to pay you. This is what we'll give you to keep you around. Whereas Liverpool sat down with him and actually gave him a full-on development plan, saying this is how we're going to use you, this is how we're going to integrate you, this is all of this stuff. And he, as a smart young guy, head nailed on correctly, good people around him, said, yeah, okay, yeah, you know what, I appreciate that, and he chose that option, the footballing option. So that is clearly another example of where this club are failing as well. You remember not like he's gone on to do anything massive, but Sidney Tavares, when he was brought into the Leicester City squad a few years ago, I think he made his debut in the Europa League or something like that, or the Conference League, and he also went in the summer. He didn't sign a new deal, and maybe something similar like that happened. It was Porto that came in for him. Of course, he's Portuguese, so that might have played a part, but he's not really done much since. But again, it's another example of a player that is highly rated leaving, right? And we haven't really done it. We haven't really been able to keep hold of the best youngsters, and the ones that we have kept hold of have turned out pretty crap. But I just saw Shane Flynn. Do you remember Shane Flynn? He's playing in like the second division in Ireland or something now, I think. So he was no good. But my point is that there's clearly not enough being done, and especially with Seagrave, it should be. We hear about these players coming in like Coady and then Winks and going, whoa, look at the facilities. The kids should be like that as well. You know what I mean? And we're not doing enough.
We built a world-class facility with no plan on how to use it. That's honestly what it feels like.
Look, Leicester City should have an elite, world-class reputation for developing young players. It should be amongst the very best in the world. Now, the one advantage we have over the big six clubs is that we're not so desperate for success this particular season. So we have the freedom to play an 18, 19, 20-year-old and accept they're not going to be amazing every week, but we know that we're building them. We're building the asset value as well at the same time. And I've used this person as a prime example of where somebody else's thinking is different and their actions are different, and it's paying off for them. So Bournemouth bought Dean Howson from Juventus this summer for 15 million euros. I think it might have even been last summer. He's 18 years old. He started the last 11 Premier League games and played all 90 minutes. Not the guy's 18 years old playing for 60, 70 and then take him off. He's played 90 every single game. He's 18 years old at centre-back. At centre-back, an 18-year-old. Do you think we'd ever consider doing something like that? In our wildest dreams, we don't. We take the opposite view. Our view is that experience is crucial, and we need guys who have been around the block several times, so we end up with centre-backs who are 32, 31, 33. That's our age range of Coady, Faes and Vestergaard, isn't it? Something like that. So we need to wake up. Our striker's 38, our wingers are 33. Bournemouth, for example, I share this with you guys privately. Bournemouth don't have an outfield first-teamer who's 30 or above. Not one 30. So we need to change our mindset and say, instead of looking like someone like Jeremy Monga going, oh, he's 15. Well, every 15-year-old's different. Is he good enough? That's the question. Is he good enough? You'll see it in training. If he's skinning people in training, put him one-on-one against Victor, and if he's embarrassing him more often than not, he starts against Man United. That's it. Simple.
Yeah. You're old enough.
Well, that's it, Ragsy. Somebody says here, there's no pathway. I can't find the comment now, but someone said there's no pathway. There we go. No pathway to the first team. Look at Will Alves, right? Yes, he's now gone out on loan, but he's been sat around the club for 6 months. He could have gone out on loan last season, at the start of the season, and we kept him around, and he played, 15 minutes against Man City? Less? 10 minutes against Man City? It's crazy, man. And even Braybrook got recalled, and now he's just at the club. I'm guessing he wasn't playing much at Dundee. Is that why he was recalled? But then I am also seeing talk that I can't remember who tweeted it, but they said that there has been a lot of activity in the last few days of the window with players being recalled from their loans and sent back out, and lots of focus on that. Maybe they are planning for a lot of youth players to come into the fold next season with a potential transfer embargo. But yeah, talk to me on the whole pathway, Ragsy, and Alves, for example.
I just think it's like, because with Will Alves as well, like from people that I know through the club and even just sort of like seeing and sort of like experts around there, they were saying like he's also one of the brightest prospects from his age group that have even outshone the likes of, Harvey Barnes and Ben Chilwell and Hamza Chowdhury and stuff. And they were saying like the technical ability that he has to sort of like progress the ball and go forward is beyond anything they've ever seen. And like, it's just, what does he have to do just to, and we don't really trial him in terms of even having him on the bench. And like, okay, yes, he got like a couple of minutes when the game was done against Man City as just like a little taster and stuff, but that's not really going to do anything. Like the cup games could have been crucial for him to at least like show and how far he's come. And I don't know necessarily after his sort of leg break where they're trying to be a bit cautious with him and him re-entering the first team. But it's also very telling as well. Like it's the first loan move that he's got, and it's to a championship club already. Like at the age of 19, usually it would have been like a League One or League Two group just to ensure that he starts or something. So, but yeah, we've got to keep on providing that. Otherwise, yeah, we're in terms of the best prospects and stuff. Like we're so outdated when it comes to trying to push forward for the future, and we're just thinking there's a here and now and experience. Like 10 years ago under sort of Rudkin setup, like that would have, you just rely on moments and individual moments of brilliance, and that would have got you by. We can't do that anymore. The game's too technically advanced for it, and you just need to mold for the future and the right talent and the right prospects just to fit what you want for your team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Manny, you always talk about this. Obviously, I think we all agree with this. If we can, if we hadn't have brought in Steve Cooper, we would have had a different team. And they backed the wrong guy. But no, I've seen I've seen screenshots of Will Alves' dad liking tweets, and he won't mind me saying Ants Leicester fan channel. He was putting tweets out saying it's a mockery that Will Alves wasn't sent out on loan in the summer, and he's not even been used. And Will Alves' dad has been liking them, and it's a shambles. It really, really is. And of course, though, it doesn't help that you've had two managers in one season, because Cooper might have had a plan for Will Alves. Second half of the season, I'll integrate him. Whereas Rude comes in. No, I'm not saying he does.
Say, what was that plan? Get him a cup of tea in the morning. There was no plan. And to be honest with you, we keep saying it, director of football, that's exactly what a DOF is all about, because they're thinking 5 or 10 years in the future. So Jeremy Monga, if he's 15, that's exactly where a 5 to 10 year plan comes, right? As you said with Naoni went to Liverpool, you should be saying, this is the plan for you, right? As soon as you sign a professional contract, we're going to send you out on loan to a championship. We're going to find a good club for you who plays good progressive football. You're going to play there. We're going to make sure you're well supported. Then the idea is you're going to come back the next season. You're going to start playing games for us. Then you're going to be doing this and you're going to be doing that. This is the position we want you to play. We've got these coaches that are going to be working with you one-on-one. Even in your time at your championship club, we're going to send the coach down to see you like once a month. That's the kind of stuff that a good team should be doing. It's weird though, because I have heard that there have been plans put in place for some players, but it seems like it's a bit hit and miss, because I remember seeing an interview with Ben Nelson when he first signed for the club, and he said that one of the reasons he signed for Leicester is they actually did have this plan for him, and they said it, and with him it does seem to be working out, because they started them in League 2, then League 1, then Championship, then he was playing in the first team, and I think it's just inevitable that he is going to start playing for us at some point. But maybe they've got favourites and some of them they don't care about, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, I just saw this comment here. Sat Rudkin employ the BTG squad as directors of football. Luke as half-time team talk.
Get me in that dressing room with Luke. Get me in there with Luke.
Well, Ragsy,
I'll land them some home truths they will handle. Yeah.
Well, Ragsy, I've got a plan. I think I think Anil and Duck could take care of being managers, head coaches. Manny could be in the analytical data department. I'll be in the media team, and Ragsy can be the hairdresser.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you're talking hairdryer treatment, bro, then yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell Coady to stick his microphone where the sun don't shine. That sort of
Mate, Cody's a mad one, by the way. Yeah. So let's just end on that, Ragsy. What are your thoughts on that Coady thing, mate?
What do you think about Conor Coady?
Shut up. Oh man.
Sorry, I got that from Basil Brush.
Oh, that's sent me straight. Comies. I mean, yeah, just what do you even say? Like, it's just like it's so telling from him that a week before as well, he went on Fox's Den or whatever they call it now.
We'd take him if he can come on here if he wants.
That's it, yeah, out there. And he comes on, he's talking about the togetherness of the group and just being like, yeah, in times like these, we've got to stick together. And then he's just showing his true colours, really, like the first opportunity day, because Wolves just wanted to sort of pluck him out there, and he was right on it. And I can't stand him. I can't stand him as a player. Honestly, if it weren't for him being media trained and stuff, he's got the technical. Like, he wouldn't even start for Morecambe. He's just horrendously shit. He takes no authority on the pitch, and there's no difference with him in the team and as this supposed sort of leadership role that he's trying to take on and stuff. And now it's just telling us to even from last season why Enzo wasn't fancying him.
It's a great example of non-joined up thinking. Why would you bring Conor Coady in, who admitted, during and post Enzo, that Enzo was asking him to do things that he wasn't comfortable in doing? He said, I don't want to be dragged out as a third centre-back completely by my own when my passing skills are required. And my passing isn't quite up to it. That's not really my strengths are. He said he found the adaptation difficult. So he doesn't really fit the profile of an Enzo player. So why did we spend £10 million and 90 grand a week on bringing him in? I just don't understand that in the first place. And as we've seen, he doesn't really fit any of our styles of play, so we're trying to shift him out the door. And to be fair to him, I mean, nothing against the guy. Actually, I think he's brilliant off the pitch and probably is very, very helpful in that regard. And I'm sure he's trying to do all his best. And I know some of the comments out there have a go at him on being Five Live and stuff like this. And yes, he wants a career in that kind of stuff after football. But it means the other players don't have to come out and start taking, SHIT from journalists and people like us. So at least he's not hiding and taking his money. He is camera facing. But at the end of the day, it's just bottom line is he's not good enough. Not good enough. Wasn't good enough when he arrived. Isn't good enough today. Try and get him out the door. Try and get those wages off your books. If he plays, he's a liability. I just don't see the point of having him anywhere near the squad. So if you can't get him out the door, then you've got to find some kind of use. Loan him to Galatasaray for the rest of the season. Just get the money off our books.
Yeah. Right. Final question for you guys. After all that, we've gone on tangent after tangent tonight, but it's all a bit of a laugh. And Neil, what do you reckon, mate? Are we going to get anything from? Well, I say anything. There's no points to get, but there's a place in the next round against Man United on Friday night, live on ITV, mate. Is it going to be another embarrassment or what?
No, I think it's just two crap teams playing one another, but they're probably slightly less crap than we are, so they'll probably go through. We have such a terrible record at Old Trafford anyway. Even when we were good, we struggled to beat them there, so don't think it looks good.
Yeah, and this is no. Luke will not be director of communications. He won't be anywhere near technology in any way, shape, or form either. Man United, mate. Are we going to win the game? Are we going to lose it? What's going on? Is there replays at this point or penalties?
We're going to get spanked. Move on. All good. By the way, this time, I've got no complaints for getting spanked. I want out this tournament. I really don't. I don't want the extra games. I don't want the extra injuries.
Do you ever complain about getting spanked, Manny?
No. Ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lies.
The delay in that answer is very telling to me.
Yeah, man. We're just giving you a sneak peek of the kind of converstions that Manny will have on his new late night Leicester show next week. So there we go.
Not on
no. Ragsy, mate, what's going on? Man United, what are you thinking?
Yeah, they'll just try and make a little bit of a game of it, but we'll end up bending over. Faes might have a new haircut if I ever get there in the time. So, but yeah, no, I think we might, just for the sake of United, if they're that crap and stuff, and they also need to bounce up and pressures on them. We might get like a shot goal, but I think when it really matters, when it's crunch time to grind out something, like even if it's a draw, they'll just bottle it because they're inherently bottle jobs, like most of this squad anyway. So yeah, probably like a 3-1 or something.
Well, there we go. Yeah, well, there we go. I mean, who was it at the very start? Steve asked for some positivity. Football related, there's not much positivity to be had. Manny getting spanked, maybe you can find a bit of positivity there.
We've been linked with old Vidal Sassoon over here, the brilliant Italian player who's going to come in on loan. Look, at least we're having a laugh now, right? We feel better than Monday, don't we? So for some reason, we've got that out of the system. Hopefully, in a bit, there's a bit of weirdly some relief, some pressure on Ruud gone off. All this transfer questions every day. Who are we bringing in? What's the club doing? Now it's time to say, okay, that's done. We have to move on as a club, as a fan base, quickly. And United's a cup game and everything, and maybe it doesn't matter so much. We have different opinions, but we're still in this fight. And what do you want to do? Just down tools and give up? I thought our motto is Foxes not quit. So we need to change our mindsets quickly. Start getting our heads in the game. Start getting aggressive. Start believing that we can get out of this. And don't just give up like a bunch of, I don't want to say what word, and just go down with a whimper. That's not my way. I'm sure that's not BTG's way. And we're supposed to, reputationally, that's not supposed to be our way. So we need to change our mindset and try and find something. Obviously, we need something for our club to give us. But cheers, Clivo. Make sure you send a video of that, Clivo, if you do that. All right.
Monday night, 7:00 live call-in show. There we go. Yeah, Manny, I respect the positivity. I think you're chatting shit, to be honest with you. I don't think there's anything positivity to be had. But I do agree with you. You can't cry anymore, so we'll just laugh about it. That's it now. For the next 6 months, we'll do our best, and we'll go from there. Anil, mate, tell people, because it's still there, people can still watch it if they haven't already, the analysis from yesterday.
Well, if you want to see just how bad our defence is, and a Dumb and Dumber poster featuring Yannick Vestergaard and Wout Faes, there you go. Take a look at that. Also recommend checking out your video with Rob Tanner. That was very interesting as well. Some behind-the-scenes chatter.
Yes, yeah. Go and check the analysis out. And then after that, if you've got some time, go and check out the Rob Tanner interview. Manny's still got 20 minutes left. Ragsy's still got 5 minutes left. So, yeah, Manny, mate, looking forward to Friday, mate. Nope. I'm trying to find something to talk about, mate. Well, to end us off, but
it's it's on ITV, so everybody's just to see how crap we are at the moment. It's going to be horrific. It's going to be embarrassing, but I'll tell you what. If the game is that bad, they can always tune into Blue Tinted Glasses. Come and have a laugh. Come and enjoy the game with us. It won't be any of this. I don't know who the pundits are for ITV at the weekend. It'll be interesting to see. Roy Keane's on there as well. I'm looking forward to a little bit to see what Roy Keane might say about Leicester, but this is going to be ugly. We've
got our own Roy Keane. We've got Luke. It's fun.
Do you know what? Luke versus Roy Keane would be amazing. How do we make that happen? But yeah, no, am I looking forward to it? Absolutely not. Bring on the Premier League. I want the Premier League back. That's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. Ragsy, what's coming up on Foss Hub and all that stuff?
Yeah, we'll do a preview. You got a 5% chance of seeing Manny spanked on there in literal means and other means as well. But yeah, come catch us on there for a preview. But yeah, it's just, if honestly, at least we had a laugh on here. But yeah, if you don't laugh, you might cry. So, but yeah, it's just, see how it goes, isn't it? We keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Manny, you going on Foss Hub?
No, not that I know of at the moment. But,
okay. Sorry, I thought that's what Ragsy said.
Contact my booking agent.
I was going to say go and give Ragsy and Zaki some shit. But
no, I'm at the stage where I don't deal with my own bookings. I've elevated that far.
No, big time, is he?
No, we're ending it there. Thank you, everybody. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit subscribe. A little bit of a different ending here, actually, you're about to see. So, yeah, cheers all. And we'll see you next